story time on how the last day of school ended terribly wrong. It all started off good and we had a field day, and then around 12 we ate lunch before we got on the bus for our 1 to 2 hour drive to Busch Gardens. And that's like basically like when everything started. So on the bus there was around 2 to 3 different groups of 14 students. So the bus was like jam-packed, it was full, and each seat was occupied. So these two boys had sat behind me and my friend, and we didn't really care because, like, okay, you know, all the seats are full, where else are we gonna sit? It was me and my friend in one row, and then my other friend sat on the other side because there was only 2 seats on each row, and no one sat with her, so she was just sitting alone. But yeah, so the 2 boys sat behind us, then 2 of the boys' friends sat in front of us. So yeah, we had the 2 boys sitting behind us and the 2 boys sitting in front of us and their friends. So tell me why. Everything was going great, everything was fine. We were just sitting, listening to music. I was talking to my friend that I was sitting with, and we were laughing, having fun, whatever. Tell me why the 2 boys behind us kept hitting our seat and like putting their hand like on my back. So pretend like this is the seat. They kept like putting their hand like right here, so I could feel their hand on my back. Like, most people wouldn't care, and I really didn't care, but like, you know, I told them to stop because like I'm just trying to chill for this 2-hour drive. And yeah, I kept telling them to stop, and they did for a second, and then they kept doing it over and over again, and they kept doing it to my friend as well that was sitting next to me, and I literally kept telling them to stop, and they just kept doing it. So you may think, oh, they're just trying to joke and stuff and be funny. We're not friends with them, and like they know we're not friends with them. I feel like you would only really joke like that with your friends. So it was just really, really weird. So literally all you heard the whole bus ride was me telling them to stop putting their hand right there because they kept touching me and my friend. And then they would like accidentally bump our seat with their leg or their foot. And it was literally so annoying. And we told them to stop every single time, and they just kept doing it. So this is like where I started getting super annoyed, is their friends in front of us, their 2 friends in front of us kept reaching their hand through our seat to like handshake the 2 friends behind us. So their hand was like literally right here in between me and my friend, and that's what really like ticked me off. Like, and the part that really annoyed me the most was the fact that they didn't even ask to switch seats with us so that their friends could be closer to them so they could do whatever they wanted to do, but instead they just wanted to annoy us and do it right across and in between us. So me and my friend kept telling them to stop, and of course they didn't, and we just had to deal with it for the bus ride there. And then we got off the bus and, you know, went our separate ways, went with our friends. And then the bus ride back home, that's when everything went terrible. So we were gonna sit in a different spot because we didn't want them in between us, like a sandwich. So we were gonna sit closer to the back because we were like in the middle. So we were gonna sit closer to the back, but people kept complaining, saying that people were in their seats and, you know, there were no seats left. I don't know how there were no seats left. So we went back to our original seats, and we were in between the friends. Again, it started well, and like, you know, nothing was going on. Me and my friend, we were tired because we left at like 8:30, so it was like getting dark. So we were tired, we were trying to go to sleep and listen to music. Literally everything was fine. Then it went terribly wrong. So once again, we were on the bus and they started kicking my seat, and I told them to stop. I was like, can you stop kicking my seat? I'm literally just trying to sleep. I'm not even saying anything to you. I'm not, you know, I'm not like pushing my seat back or nothing. I'm literally just listening to music and cuddled up against the window trying to go to sleep, listening to Janae Aiko. I kept hitting my seat, and the boy behind me, the one that was doing it, started arguing with me, saying, I'm barely hitting your seat, I'm barely touching your seat, you need to shut up, leave me alone. If you were barely hitting my seat, I would not have felt it. So clearly you have to put a little bit of momentum in your hit for me to actually feel it, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was purposely hitting my seat to purposely get me upset because he knows that that would get me upset. And I was really trying to like stay calm because like, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Like, just stop hitting my seat. Like, I'm not hitting the person in front of me's seat, and they're not looking back and telling me to stop. So, you know, is it really that hard to sit still? So yeah, me and the boy started arguing, and I was just like, just stop kicking my seat. Like, it's really not that hard. Like, he was doing so much, and I literally, the whole point was him to stop kicking my seat. So yeah, the bus was so freaking loud. So for him to hear me, I was definitely yelling because he was yelling at me, so I was yelling back. So yeah, the bus was literally so freaking loud. It was like a party, and the teachers were in the front of the bus, and they did not care at all. They were just literally sitting down, sleeping. I don't know what they were doing. So he had stopped, I'm pretty sure, and then like once it had got dark outside, that's when I feel like, I don't know, something was in the air, and everyone started going crazy on the bus, and it was so freaking loud. And I was sleeping, or I was like cuddled up against the window, so I was facing this way. The window is right here, so I was facing this way on my phone, and like my feet were in my seat. So I was trying to sleep. Tell me why someone threw a fucking grape at me. Someone literally threw a grape at me, and they like kept throwing them. I don't know what was going on through these people's heads, but it was mostly boys that were like surrounding, like in our surrounding seats. So yeah, but it was just so much happening. It was so loud. People were yelling. People were throwing grapes and fucking water, and it kept hitting me. Like, our seat was in the middle, so I'm not surprised, but I honestly feel like they were like hitting me on purpose, and I still don't know who was doing it. So the first throw came from like this way, like it came like diagonally. So I was like, whoever threw that, don't throw nothing at me again. It was literally dark. I couldn't see a single person. Like, I couldn't see no one except for my friend that was beside me. So they also had felt something hit them. So obviously they didn't stop, and they kept throwing stuff at me. I felt, okay, I don't know if it was purposely getting thrown at me, but it kept hitting me. So that's what like kept making me upset. And I kept saying stop, and like the teachers could hear me, and they didn't do a single thing. And I started getting like really upset because like I would just lean over and try to go back to sleep, and I just kept getting hit with something. And at first I didn't know what it was, but I turned my flashlight on and I saw it was a grape, and I was like, no, this is really dumb. Like, why are y'all playing? Like, it's not funny. So that's when I started thinking it was like the boys behind me. So I was like, who keeps throwing stuff? Is it one of y'all that keeps throwing something at me? And they were like, we're not throwing nothing, we're not throwing nothing. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I tried to go back to sleep again, and that's when I felt one of them kick my seat. That ticked me off. I got so freaking mad, and I started arguing with the two boys that were behind me. When I say arguing, I was yelling, I was mad. And you know how when you get so angry that like your eyes start watering, your voice starts getting shaky? That's how mad I was. Looking back at it, I'm realizing it wasn't that serious, but like I felt like they kept purposely throwing something at me and my friends, so it really annoyed me, especially since we were not bothering them and we were just being to ourselves. And the other thing that really annoyed me was the teachers not doing a single thing. So I literally had to text one of the teachers on my phone and tell them, and then that's when one of them came back and was like, stop throwing stuff, blah blah blah. And by that time the ride was basically over, so there was no point in them doing that. Like, we were 10 minutes away from the school, so we were already terrorized, and I was already annoyed. Obviously nothing happened, nobody got in trouble. It was the last day of school. I'm not really surprised, and looking back, I might have overreacted, but I was so angry. Anyways, I'm all done, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Storytime and how these kids got caught doing the boom in my school bathroom. Okay, so boom, this all started literally yesterday. I was in my class, you know, sitting, being a normal student. Well, in this class, this is my third period, and we just got back from lunch, you know, whatever, just cool. I sit next to these two people for obvious reasons. I'm not gonna name drop, but their names are, for this story time, Zay and Bay. Okay, so basically, Bay, she's this girl that sits next to me in my third period, and she's just a quiet girl. She be reading some freaky books though, you know, Icebreaker, those type of books, like, those are the books she be reading. She's like, I guess, mysterious. Like, I don't like to use that word, but like, yeah. Because anytime I ask her any questions about her in her like relationship, because she's dating Zay, the guy that actually she used to sit next to, but she had to get moved because they kept on making out in front of the whole class. Mind you, we sit in the front, but she still sits next to her man or whatever. So they have, it's not a far distance. It's like it's just one seat gap in between them, so they can talk perfectly fine together. We were going over some like slides and stuff in that class, and while we were going over the slides, Zay decides to go up and go get the boys' bathroom pass. And like, you know, as one would, you go get the boys' bathroom pass if you want to use the bathroom. So he goes to use the bathroom, and a little bit like 15 seconds later, Bay is getting up and she's getting the girls' bathroom pass. Although they literally sit next to me, I wasn't really peeping the fact that like, oh wait, they're both going to the bathroom at the same time. And they're dating. And clearly they're comfortable to do whatever at school. if you're giving the whole class a show with your makeout session. So, like, nobody's really thinking about, like, oh, wait, they just, like, low-key, went. My friend was the reason why I low-key peeped the fact that they went. She was like, Janae, blah, blah. But to be honest, I didn't really care because I was just trying to pay attention. Like, I should have been, like, they should have been. And also, I wasn't really trying to jump to any conclusions, but silly me, I should have. But when I get to one of my classes, someone tells me that they were in the bathroom when Zay was in the bathroom. And that might not seem like a problem, but it is. By the way, just to get this clear, this is happening in the boys' bathroom. So Zay comes in, and he asks my friend if he can leave because he's about to do something with his girl. What? I'm sorry, but, like, I'm a little taken aback. Like, you're asking somebody that was already in the bathroom to leave so you can do something with your girl. Okay. Just okay, I guess. So the person told me this, they said that they left the bathroom and, now Zay and Bay are both in the same stall. They're in the bathroom, they alone. But, my friend, he obviously was lying. He came back, bro. He came back inside the bathroom just after he left. Because one thing about it, you're not about to tell somebody to get out the bathroom and expect them to actually get out the bathroom, especially when you say all of that. I'm about to do something with my girl. And a few things he heard when he went back in there were said. Of course there was noises, If you put two together, I hope you can assume what Zay and Bay were doing in the stall. But if you haven't, let's just say Zay and Bay were cracking in the bathroom. And before I get anywhere farther, one of the things Zay said to her before, he started doing, he says, sorry, it's small, I'm not blank right now. I'm not gonna say it, but, I'll put it. I'm gonna just let that sink in real quick. So, later that day, I go tell my friend about, this new learned information, so I could tell her, that's what they were doing in the bathroom, because we were gonna ask him, right after, class ended, but, we just didn't get the chance. But now with this newfound information, I told her. So next day comes forward, today, I go in the classroom, and everyone is talking about it. I came a little bit early, so, majority of the class was there, but, majority of it was talking about it. So I sit down, and mind you, in this class, Zay sits, right in front of me, but everybody's talking about it. By the way, the friend I told this information to was in there. So I'm assuming she told everybody what I said. So now Zay is slowly turning towards me, and he starts staring at me with, the most unsettling face, ever, bro. So now everybody's, trolling him, the whole entire morning for cracking someone in the bathroom. So now skip forward to when I get to my third period or whatever. I don't think they're gonna do it again. Because mind you, they did it in the third period yesterday. Why would they do it today? Especially after how much he got trolled for it. But it seems like he didn't learn his lesson because next thing you know, he's going to reach for the boys' pass and he leaves, and so does And one of the people that wasn't there when everybody was trolling him in the morning when I got there, sat next to me, so I was telling her about it. So I told her and she was like, oh wait, I should snitch. And people were telling her not to. But the only reason why she would snitch is because she doesn't like him. She doesn't like Zay. They already had their own issues from the beginning of the year and probably prior to that. But she decides not to. But now everybody's curious. Everyone's starting to peep the fact that they're both gone again after what happened yesterday. So somebody goes out there and they sneak out since the boys' pass is already gone. So they sneak out and go to the bathroom. They basically just saw them in the same stall again. Clearly he didn't learn his lesson. He got away with it yesterday and he probably thought he was going to get away with it today, but he didn't. The bathroom and our classroom door is literally right next to each other because there's two doors in the classroom. So now everyone is going to get tissues and pretending to blow their nose outside the door because they're trying to see what's going on. So eventually the teacher gets up because a lot of people are starting to get up, go to the door and try to see what's happening. There's actually people outside the classroom, not from my class, but other people from other classes, and they were doing classwork outside. So they were doing the classwork right next to the bathroom. And those people saw Bay and Zay go into the same boys' bathroom because mind you, Bay is a girl, remember, and Zay is a boy, so it's kind of weird. What? I don't know why I said kinda. It is weird. And they start talking about it, and the teacher overhears that, and she's like, what? Because she was already looking for the girls' passing, because they've been gone for maybe 2-3 minutes. So the teacher goes into the girls' bathroom, and she sees that, Bay's not there, so where could she be? And people were already saying stuff she's in the boys' bathroom, blah blah blah. So now the teacher, she's going into the boys' bathroom to go check. And eventually after, she already peeped the fact that they're both in the same stall. Eventually Zay comes out of this stall, and he's leaned up on the door, and he looks mad and whatever, as if it's not his fault. Why are we all what? Bay is literally scared, because mind you, she's the quiet kid. She just doesn't look like she's someone that gets in trouble, But remember, she do be reading them freaky books, so maybe she was trying to recreate some of the things she saw in the book. Trying to create icebreaker too. And since Bay's too scared to come out, the teacher asks one of the students to go call admin, and admin does come, aka the principal. I don't know how he does it, but he ends up making her come out. Now she's leaned up on the locker, is literally crying. A little bit before we even peeped that Bay was crying, Zay came to the door frame, and the principal was trying to pull him away, because I don't know, he was low-key crashing out. He literally started crashing out. He was
Who ratted me out? Who ratted me out?
Eventually the principal was able to pull him away, or whatever, and that was the end of that. But for all I know, they're probably suspended now. Well, they should be. But for all I know, they're either suspended or whatever happened to them. Maybe even sent to alternative school. But hopefully it was worth it wanting to clap some cheeks in a public school bathroom. Especially in the grade that we're in, I know nobody should be doing that. Even whatever grade you're in, you should not be doing it in a bathroom. Or especially in our grade at all. Moral of the story, do not be doing the boombayah in school bathrooms or any type of bathroom. Honestly, that should be common sense though, so it's not even a moral of the story, that's common sense. But I guess common sense isn't so common, so, gotta let people catch up. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching my story time, and bye-bye.
Story time on the craziest girl at my high school. And I don't mean fun crazy. I know you guys have been waiting for the story times, and I'm finally all done with high school, so I'm gonna start doing one really good one a week. I'm only gonna tell these stories from my personal experience. I don't want to spread any false information, any false rumors, so if I don't know, I won't be sharing the information. But what I do know is that this girl came to our high school. I forget which year, but she came to our high school. She was all the rave. She was super pretty. She seemed
to be super nice. I think I know why she came to our school, but I'm not for sure, so I'm not gonna say it. I never really had a big run-in with her until my best friend at the time started dating her ex. I always have heard things because she went through a lot of friend groups, and there was just always some kind of drama attached to that, you know? So anyway, my best friend starts dating her ex. They broke up. She said she didn't cheat. He said she did. She said, I don't know what's true, but basically he meets my best friend, and when I tell you, these two together are the perfect couple. I can't even explain. Like, they're so in love, they're gonna get married. If they don't, I don't believe in love. This girl also gets a boyfriend around the same time. They're both moved on. Great. No, not great, because she's not. She keeps finding ways to text her ex, which is now my best friend's boyfriend, so you know, it's unsettling. They're a happy couple. Leave them alone. He never answers her. He keeps blocking her. Eventually gets to the point where she literally is texting him through her friend's phone. She like sent him a song that like reminded her of him. I'm just like, what? You have a boyfriend. I remember my friend showing me like a DM where she was like, my mom saw you driving today. I was thinking of you. Like, what are you doing? Anyway, it gets to the point where she literally texts him through her friend's phone and is kind of like blackmailing him to talk to her in a way. I'm not going to say why, you know, those are her reasons. That's not for me to talk about on the internet. And my best friend is hanging out with her boyfriend. So, you know, she stands on business and is like, look, if you need to talk to him, like, I'll be right here on the phone with him, but you can call if you need. So the girl's like, never mind. So it's just kind of at a point where, you know, she has a boyfriend. She shouldn't be texting her ex. So this is where I come in. I'm very good at confrontation. I'm also very good with my words. So me and my best friend sit down and we type a long letter for her that's very nice and direct. It wasn't mean whatsoever. The worst part was the end where we were just like, look, if you need help from your ex, we're gonna have to screenshot these texts and send them to your boyfriend because what is going on? She reads the text, but she doesn't answer it. And of course we go to school that week and hear that my best friend apparently sent her some mean text. Obviously no one believed this because, you know, my best friend at the time is so unproblematic. Literally, no one batted an eye when she said something. No, it goes mute for a while, and then we're at the point where my best friend's boyfriend needs his clothes back from this girl. So my friend texts her the first time and asks, and she's just like, well, why doesn't my ex pick it up? Then my best friend fought back and said he doesn't want to waste the gas. So she pulls the I'm not home right now, which is fine. So my best friend texts again and asks for the clothes again, and just saying that she'll swing by to grab them if you leave them on the front porch. Swings by, no one's there. She doesn't get out of her car. There was really no response, so she just kind of went on with her life. And the girl then said she gave away all of his stuff, which didn't make sense for reasons, but I don't want to get the story wrong, so we're just gonna continue. Anyway, this girl's mom ends up texting the girl's ex's, my best friend's boyfriend, and the whole thing is kind of complicated, basically saying that my best friend and her boyfriend's little sister were like harassing this girl. Just everyone knows that that's not true. This girl's mom also called my best friend a horse. Like, what? Sorry, but if you're over the age of 30 and you need to talk crap about high school girls, what are you doing? Her mom has literally made so many girls feel bad about themselves, like, almost bullied out of friend groups. Like, I know this is a fact for sure because I have witnessed it. But regardless of the fact, this whole thing just goes on for way too long, and I'm, like, walking in the hallway behind her, and she just doesn't care about who's around her, I guess, because I just hear her talking about this whole scenario completely wrong. Like, she's telling the story. Oh, I messed up on those. Telling the story so wrong and calling my best friend a fan. My best friend doesn't even say this girl's name, let alone act like a fan. And I made a story time about that whole kind of interaction as well, but I've been very careful about the story times that I share because I did it once to this other girl. Actually, that girl might top craziest chick. I don't even know. I'm not gonna say that because that's mean, but I did do like a story time about homecoming drama, and she made it seem like I was bullying her because I was calling out all the bullying I went through being her friend. Like, what? That'll be another story time. I just don't understand. I'm trying to do these as graceful as possible because, you know, like, I'm not a mean person. I don't like to talk bad about people, but I'm not afraid to spill the truth. And like, right out of high school, no one probably knows who I'm talking about, but basically this whole encounter with this girl lasted like a year and a half, I swear. It's like she forgot me and my best friend at the time literally like lived through each other. Like, everything I knew, she knew. Like, it was like our lives were one, you know? So pretty much the craziest part of all that was just the fact that she still had a boyfriend. It's one thing if you're still hung up on your ex and like you miss him and are trying to ruin someone's relationship, but you have a boyfriend. And there's been other weird allegations with that relationship, but that's not for me to talk on. But I'm ready to go. I actually really like my makeup today. I think it looks super cute and summery. So I hope you guys have a great day. There's a little story time for you guys. I hope you like it. Peace out. Love you. Bye.
So I was actually banned from my high school's premises. I've seen so many influencers opening up about what it's like to be an influencer in college, and I happened to blow up in high school, and it was a living fucking hell. So I'm gonna give you guys a little taste of what my life was like blowing up in high school. This was back in 2019 when YouTube was like the thing. It wasn't super common for people to have like a large following like it is now, so you bet your bottom dollar I was the odd man fucking out. Like, this ain't no YouTube Shorts ass plaque. This is a OG fucking YouTube plaque. She has dents in her. She is fucking ancient. Now, I really wish I could just get on here and say that it never went any further than talking shit, but it was like literally threats to my safety. So before I decided to be a YouTuber, I actually was very well liked and had a lot of friends. You guys are about to see how that went down fucking hell. Let's start all light and airy. All of my friends started treating me different. I had friends ask me for money. One girl I was friends with literally actually came up to me and asked me to buy her a car, and I'm not fucking shitting you. I have a whole story time on it if you want to watch. Now, my insecure ass decided to keep it a little fucking secret. I was like, if they ever find out about it, it'll be because I'm going viral, so I don't give a fuck. Well, I had a really shitty friend group, and they had other plans, and they literally like army hunted that shit down, because I ain't telling them about it either. And then told everyone, and honestly, everyone thought it was like pretty cool at first when I had like a super low following. They were like, that's great, good for you, and no one was like making fun of me really. When it really started blowing up and started getting like millions of views, that's when I started getting like mad shit. I feel like people weren't as threatened when I was smaller because they didn't really think it was gonna go anywhere, but then when they saw like something was actually coming out of it, they were like, oh, I fucking hate this bitch. Keep in mind, during this entire time, my dad was actually in prison, and the reason that I started YouTube was to kind of distract myself from the reality of it. Later on, I found out that that would be my main source of income since I had to become financially independent at 16 years old. Slowly went from like people saying shit about it to me literally waking up to 100 new tweets about myself every day, like making fun of me, calling me all these names. I honestly was never really fazed by it because I would come home to my mother who would say way worse things than any of my worst enemies would ever say to me. So I was like, what the fuck ever. I'm not gonna lie, I'm the nicest person you will ever meet until you fuck with me first or fuck with my friends first. Then I can become the biggest bitch you've ever known. So I would get snappy with it, and people said shit to me unsolicited while my dad's in fucking prison. Yeah, I would say shit back. A lot of people acted like just because I blew up, I lost the right to defend myself, and that was fucking stupid. So the tweets ended up turning into like legit threats, like people that I don't even know, because this was like town-wide. This wasn't just like school-wide. People I don't even fucking know exist are sitting here telling me if they ever see me in public, they're gonna fucking beat the shit out of me, kick my ass, whatever the case may be. Obviously, I'm like, bro, how do you hate me so much? I didn't even know you were a sperm cell until like 5 minutes ago. I never understood how people could have such strong, passionate hate for people they don't even fucking know. I think it was really obvious that like what they were saying wasn't getting to me, because then they started actually showing up to my house, egging my house, cussing out my parents when I wasn't home. Keep in mind, I was moved out at a certain point, and they were still fucking with my parents' house. I feel like a new threat was made to my safety like every single day. I even had this one kid tell me he was gonna bash my head into a brick wall until I bleed out. But nonetheless, they were all just kind of dry threats and like keyboard warriors, because no one to this day has still ever said anything to me in person. So I guess that speaks for itself. I remember every time I started going out in public, people would like whisper, stare, take like photos of me. I feel like it was scary for me because I never knew if they were like subscribers and like supporters, or if they were like just people that wanted to fucking make fun of me. People from my town have hosted like live streams with like hundreds of viewers of all people from my town just talking shit about me in the comments, like comment after comment after comment. It was just a little draining having that happen to you 24/7 all day, and then coming home and your mother saying like worse things than anyone at school is saying. Like, it just kind of just never stopped. I feel like I was more so just confused and like wanted answers more than I was upset about it, because when I tell y'all, I had made the biggest, most genuine effort to be cool with literally everyone. If you were alone in a class or alone at lunch, I would go over and talk to you. Like, I made sure to be a good person daily. So a lot of it was just me trying to like find a reason for what I did to deserve this. My school actually started to suspend me for my videos, and because people were wearing my merchandise to school, and it like disrupted the learning environment, or whatever the fuck dumbass excuse they have. But not only was I getting like severely bullied, but the school was against me too. They started telling me what I could and what I couldn't post, and basically controlling my fucking career at this point. So I was like, okay, fuck it. You want to tell me what to post while I'm here? When I got out of here, I'm literally saying every single thing that happened to me in this shithole. And I did, and it got over 2 million views. I like literally dropped everything that happened to me at that school. Anytime someone came to my house, anytime someone egged my house, the bullying that they let happen over and over again. The video was honestly such a fucking power move and such a slay, and I like reacted to all the tweets that they had to say about it, because, you know, people in a small ass fucking town where nothing's going on are like diehards for their fucking high schools. You know, that was the peak of their life. They're never gonna have something as good as that. My school ended up not putting my senior quote in the yearbook, and people kind of ran out of shit to talk about me, so they started making up like heavy accusations in an attempt to like ruin my career, saying I was like racist, homophobic, all this shit that's not fucking anywhere near true. Anyone who knows me knows that. I feel like they do that with every influencer too. They always try to pull racist or homophobic or something out of their ass that they know isn't true because they have literally no ammo. That I actually genuinely got fucking bothered by, because I was like, this is my career. Like, you're gonna make up lies and sit there and Photoshop screenshots to ruin someone's career? Like, what are you doing with your life? Use that energy on you. My high school then started hosting mental health assemblies because all the fucked up shit that happened to me was just so unrecognized. Even to this day, like, I was just at the store with my boyfriend the other day and we ran into someone from high school, and you know what they looked at me and said? They're like, I know someone who wants to kick your ass. Like, bro, this was 5 years ago. It's okay, baby. You can move on. I don't have to live in your head rent motherfucking free. You want a down payment for all the time I spend in your brain. Like, are we feeling okay? And I noticed, like, when I go to the gym, like, people still give me fucking looks, people still whisper and stare, and I'm like, girly pop, that was 5 years ago. There were tweets that my dad's in jail and I'm a piece of shit just like my dad. Honestly, the most horrible things you can think of saying to someone were all said to me. My teachers would literally pull up my YouTube channel in front of everyone and, like, ask me all these fucking questions and basically, like, make fun of me in front of the entire class, and they'd be like, how much do you make? Like, blah, blah, and I would literally just be like, more than you, bitch. Like, they would make smart ass comments like, I wish you would try as hard in school as you do on YouTube and all. Like, what the fuck? I'm sure so much of this wouldn't have happened if they knew what the fuck I was dealing with at home and like every day. Like, I was chronically depressed during this time. My address was getting leaked. I was waking up with fucking eggs on my windows, forks in my yard. BuzzFeed actually ended up getting word of the Storytime and contacted me and my school superintendent to do like an interview, and my school rejected it. Ever since then, I have been banned from the premises. Still to this day, I feel like I have to watch my back whenever I walk around in my hometown alone because I've just gotten so many fucking threats. And this is also just your reminder that you never know what the fuck someone's going through and what someone's dealing with at home. Like, my dad lost his job. We were on food stamps. This was my way to distract myself, and this is what I got for it, just because it worked out for me. Like, if y'all wanted to be YouTubers too, you could have just said that. I would have gave you advice. I would have helped you, babe. Anyways, now this account's blowing up, so I'm ready to get harassed even more, but thankfully, I'm fucking moved out of that shit. I love you, Hobnoggers. I'll see you in the next one.